Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Welcome to another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. We started talking about, is AI really going to put a large number of people out of work? And we'll get to continuing to answer that question in just a second. But first, if you click the Amazon link below, get my book on Amazon, The Beginner's Guide to AI, History and Current Impact on 10 Different Industries. It's a short read, 2 hours for the whole book, and it's cheap. Check it out on Amazon. Also, click the other link below and get free resources regarding AI. The resource is free, everything in the resource is free. And if you get that resource, you will be given the opportunity to participate for free in my beta course, the AI Safe Career Pivot, which helps you transition to a job that will be relatively AI safe. So how perfect bringing that up is to continue the discussion that we started last time. So we're talking about a once every 10 years study by the Bureau of Labor Statistics on automation and the effect on labor in specific occupations. So this is big stuff because it only is done once every 10 years. And this is the official U.S. government statistics and study on the impact of AI and robotics on jobs in the future. So last time we talked and did an introduction about how they looked at historical trends and the data they're using, which is 2008 to 2018, and then 2019 to 2029, the period that we talk about all along, but ignoring 2020 is an aberration, of course. The next part is about what people are saying about job loss, and then we're going to get into data. Complex perceptual and cognitive tasks like driving vehicles, composing news articles, exacting information from legal documents, and reading radiological images have been repeatedly brought up as being subject to automation. One common feature of recent writing on automation is the use of particular occupations as illustrations of the rapid encroachment of robots and AI on jobs previously restricted only to human workers. And these BLS projects like this one, which is once every 10 years, projects 10-year occupational employment trends. So then they're setting the table and they say, we're going to look at a few different things. One is technological vintage. So that means the current literature on automation considers recent robots and AI much more powerful and consequential for employment than previous ICTs, which again is information and communication technologies, representing a break with previous computing technology. Therefore, the employment effects of the current wave of computing should be distinguished from that of previous waves, and I'll make a comment about that in a second. The specific employment effects of newer robots and AI need to be distinguished from the effects of well-established computing technologies. So in this study, they're going to distinguish legacy computing effects like office automation versus AI and robotics. And let me say two things about this technological vintage. So one of the things they talk about is how the first wave of computing technology did not cause the previously predicted massive job loss that was predicted many years ago, back before these technologies were widely available and released. So they're saying the last time everyone said this, it didn't happen. That's what they're saying, to put it simply. But there's a whole other aspect to this that they don't even discuss in this article that I want to bring up. These technologies started to emerge 30 years ago. What has happened in the last 30 years? 30 years of wage stagnation. That means if you work for another company and you're an employee, wages have stagnated for 30 years while the cost of living has continued to go up and up and up, especially higher education, meaning college, and healthcare have risen at far, far faster than the general rate of inflation. So they don't even talk about wage stagnation. I would call that a very large effect of the prior computing technology that came out. And then they talk about scale effects. In addition, the automation literature tends to focus on job destruction due to technological substitution without much consideration of the possibility that innovations could increase demand for a good or service and thus require more workers to meet that demand. It is possible, for example, that partial automation of warehouses may lower retail prices and expand the use of e-commerce so that the total number of warehouse workers might grow even as staffing patterns within each warehouse become leaner. Embedded in BLS projection models is the understanding that a growing population generally increases total demand for goods and services. That is absolutely true. Among other things that I have done, I have been responsible for analysis and interpretation of economic trends on the businesses that I've worked for many, many years now, 30 years to be exact. And what does that mean? That means that I have a very high understanding of business trends, all these data that the government puts out, and what the effect on business is. And parenthetically on people too. So what do I have to say about what that paragraph talks about? Scale effects. Well, what they're ignoring here in this study is the absolute fact, which you can see from the Census Bureau, that the population growth of advanced countries like Western Europe, the US, Japan, etc., is declining and in fact leveling off. In fact, now they're concerned, very concerned in these advanced countries like this, ignoring immigration, the population is declining. Why? Because the current birth rate right now in the United States is only about 1.7. That means for every 2 people, less than 2 people are replaced, which means population declines. Now, there's a little bit of an offset to that through immigration, right? But with immigration being more restricted now, the best we're going to do is level off population growth. And by the way, this is happening worldwide. In fact, I read an article recently that said that virtually all of the expected global population growth will occur in only 2 countries. One of them is Nigeria. I forgot what the other one is. But this was a very, very interesting article looking at population growth curves in virtually every country on the planet. And all of them were leveling off, except for these 2 countries, which were in an exponential population growth pattern. So we're going to continue next time because I don't want these videos to be too long. We'll finish out the criteria that they're using for this study, which there's only one more major criteria, and then we'll get into the data. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care, be well, and I really appreciate your support.